Hi my lovely Frosty Fam, it's me, Karen Frost here at Nail Decadence, and I've got a little PR package to share with you guys. The lovely people at Madam Glam have sent me some products, so thank you ever so much, Madam Glam. Yeah, really happy to be working with you again, and I do have a discount code with them. It's not an affiliate discount code, it's just a discount code for you guys to use. They've upped my discount code from 30% off to 35% off. Can't knock that, can you? So if you want to use my code, you can get 35% off Madam Glam products, which is pretty cool. Yeah, and like I said, it's not an affiliate code, so just so you know, I always make it very clear if my codes are affiliate or not. So yeah, and I always make it very clear when I've purchased something or if it's a PR package. I'm completely transparent with those kind of things. So anywho, these are the bits they sent me. Woo woo, really excited, and they're beautiful colours. I got to choose which ones they sent me this time, which was really nice. So these are the ones that I chose. I am going to swatch them for you, but first of all I'm just showing you what they are, what they're named, of course, because if you're interested in any of them, you're going to need what they're called, aren't you, really? I know I haven't shown you the names of them yet, but I will, don't worry. I got so excited opening and checking them out that I totally forgot to show you what their names are, but I will in a moment once I've realised that I haven't done it yet. Yeah, and like I said, I'm going to show you the swatches, but I'm not going to make you watch me swatching them. I'll just get all the swatches done, and then I'll show you what they look like on swatches. So this one's Sticky Toffee. It's one I'm going to be using. This one is a beautiful pink with a lovely fine glitter running through it. That's called Daydream. This is a silver sort of metallic-y cat eye super gel. It's well, super cat eye gel they call it, and it's just stunning. Then this one is like a holographic. Can you see? Look at that label, isn't that gorgeous? It's holographic, and it's called Holo Night, and it's like a sort of goldish colour. And then this one is a silver, another silver, but this one's the holographic cat eye. And you know what I'm like with my cat eye polishes. I do love them, indeed I do. So this is what they look like swatched. Aren't they gorgeous? Look at that. So I'm just going to show you what the cat eye looks like over black. It's always handy to put your swatches on clear tips if they're a cat eye. That way you can place them over other colours to see what it will look like over other colours, because you don't have to just use black underneath your cat eye polishes, not at all. So I'm just showing you the bits that I will be using in this design that you can see on my fingernails right now. These are the bits that I chose to use. Yeah, I'm going to do a full set of acrylic and then gel polish over the top for the design. So yeah, these are the bits. So I'm going to use Sticky Toffee, and that's that really pretty one that you can see on my fingers. Plum Addict, which is like it's deep purple, almost burgundy purple. It's really nice. Hollywood, and of course I've got the top coat. This one's a wipe off top coat. They have sent me a no wipe top coat now, so yeah, but for this set I was using the top coat that you have to wipe off, but we'll get to that later. So anywho, I have prepared my nails. I have removed the natural shine from my nails. I've applied my nail tips, as you can see. I've removed all of the dust and all of that. Now I'm applying dehydrator. No, well, right now I'm applying the primer, but first of all I applied nail dehydrator. Now I'm applying the acid primer. I decided to use an acid primer. You can use non-acid if that's your preference. When it comes to acrylic, you can use either acid or non-acid. It's fine, but I tend to have my hands in water a lot, so I go with the acid primer, which I know works well for my nail beds specifically. So apply that. Now I can go in with my thin clear base. Now, because I hadn't had nails on for such a long time, my thin clear base had already grown out, so I had zero acrylic left on my natural nails. So this time I'm doing the full clear base on my entire nail plate. You don't need to bring it all the way down the tip of the nail. I'm just protecting my natural nails, which it gives me something to file back to. Clear is the best adhesion to the natural nail plate. It's the strongest of the acrylic powders, and it prevents from staining. I can't remember if I said that already, but yeah, it also prevents the nail from staining, but I use it more for the fact that it gives me something to file back to. I leave the thin clear base on so that I'm not re-prepping my nails every time I put a new set on. Yeah, I leave that thin clear base in place. Unless it has lifted, I don't remove it, I leave it on. So that way I'm only prepping the regrowth area as opposed to the whole nail over and over again, which would tend to thin the nail plate out, which I don't like to do personally. So yeah, so now I've gone back to the little finger and I'm applying the acrylic cover pink powder with monomer, of course. So I'm building, you can build the nail with the cover pink. It is a strength powder. I don't know if this brand is still available, to be perfectly honest. It's one I've had for a long time and I just want to get some of my older products used up, you know. So that's why I'm using this product in this video. But there's so many brands out there that it doesn't matter what brand you use. It's up to your personal choice. What brands work for me might not work for you. This is more of a slow setting brand. Their monomer it doesn't harden quite fast, so I suppose it would be good for beginners, but like I said, I don't know if they're even still in business, to be perfectly honest. Yeah, I'm a bit out of the loop with those kind of things. You know me, I've been a bit of a hermit for a while, so I'm not really up to date with what's going on Facebook and Instagram and all of that. So yeah, can't say that, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what brand you use. You can build the nail with the cover pink, or you can just use the cover pink until the nail is the right opacity, then build your strength with the clear, which is what I usually do to get my coloured powders to last a bit longer. I normally just cap them in clear and build my strength that way, but in this case I actually have only a small amount of clear left. I have more of the cover pink than I do of the clear, so on this occasion I'm breaking away from what I usually do and I'm just building the entire nail with the cover pink. And as I said, it's fine to do it either way. My preference is to save, you know, my coloured powders because they tend to cost a bit more than the clear. I tend to, you know, cap everything in clear, and I like the way the clear looks over the top of colours. It gives it like a glass tabletop effect, if that makes sense. But yeah, I don't have enough clear, so I'm going to just build the entire nail with the cover pink. And as you can see, I'm not counting beads. I'm not a bead counter. I can't do the full one bead method. I like to build up my nails gradually, and because I do have hooked nails, I have to make sure that I have enough product where it needs to be so that my nail doesn't look like it's going downwards, sloping downwards, which is how they naturally grow. So yeah, I don't count beads. It's just, for me, there's no point. Obviously when I was learning, you get taught the 3 bead method, but that's not always applicable to every nail design, you know, or set of nails that you're going to do, because it also depends on the length of the nails. These nails are long, you know. The 3 bead method's just not going to build the nail sufficiently strong enough for, you know, the nails to last. So yeah, don't worry about counting beads. So as you can see, I place one bead on and I bring it down the tip of the nail and I work my way towards the cuticle area. That's one of the ways that I do it. Sometimes I work from the cuticle area down, but mostly I tend to work from the tip of the nail back towards the cuticle area. That's personal preference. There's no right way or wrong way to how you get your acrylic nails done. All that matters is that the end result is a nice set of nails. So don't get caught up in the technique of I must start at the cuticle or I must start at the tip of the nail. Try both ways and see which way works best for you, you know. This is my preference and that's how I'm going to do it. And you see, I stop often, I look at the nail from all different angles and I see where there are any dips or where the nail needs building up some more. And as you can see, that's exactly where I will add product. I'll add it where it's needed and not where it's not needed. And yeah, I try and make the nail fairly neat. This is not the neatest application I've ever done. I'm really out of practice, to be perfectly honest, because I've not really done acrylic nails on myself like this for a while, so I'm totally out of practice. But it's, you know, the application's not terrible, but it's not fantastic either. So there is a bit of filing to do, which I will share with you all, because I know my frosty filing freaks do like to see a bit of filing. I hate doing it, but I like watching it, and that's just the way it is. There we go. You see, I looked at it and I compared it to my other hand to make sure that the nail is similar to what's on the other hand, as well as the nails that I've previously done. That is one of your keys to the kingdom of a uniform set of nails, is comparing what you've already done and making sure that the nail you're working on is similar to the rest of them. It only takes a few seconds to stop and look, and it makes the world of difference to your finished outcome. So yeah, that's always my top tip on doing nails, is to stop, look and compare. It's just like the free rules of what's necessary, in my opinion, to get a uniform set of nails. So apply that bead. After I've applied it down the tip of the nail, then I put another bead behind that. I work my way up to the cuticle area, and as you can see, I place that bead by the cuticle area, not too close to the cuticle area, and then I gently use my brush to tap it in towards the cuticle area, trying to make sure that it's not on the skin. If any of it does get into the sidewalls or onto the skin, I will use the tip of my brush just like so and just edge that acrylic off the skin. You don't want to leave that acrylic touching the skin. It will cause lifting, guaranteed it will cause lifting. So just make sure that you remove any acrylic that touches the skin, but try not to saturate your skin in monomer, because that's really not good for your skin. It over time will cause allergies, so you don't want that. After I finished applying my acrylic and it is hardened, I will actually go and wash my hands with soap and water before I begin filing, because I don't want that monomer sitting on my skin for any length of time. So I like to be really careful with how long my skin is in contact with nail products, because nail products are not made for skin, they're made for nails, and they are irritants to skin. And the last thing you want is contact dermatitis inflaming your fingers and making them sore so that you can't have nails on anymore. That's just not great. So just try and keep it off the skin as much as possible, is all I mean. That's it. So as you can see, when I'm applying my acrylic, I'm trying to get it nice and smooth as possible. So use your brush to your best advantage. Don't be, too aggressive with your brush, because you don't want to brush all the acrylic off, but you just want to make it smooth with your brush, with gentle swiping and tapping motions. Get that acrylic to lay as smooth as you can. Try not to bulk out the side walls, because obviously you're going to have more to file that way. But if it happens, it's not the end of the world. It just means you're going to have to spend a bit more time filing. make sure, as you can see, I'm just making sure that my stress area on the side walls are thick enough, because if it's too thin by those side walls, that's where your nail is most likely to break, where your natural free edge ends. That is a stress point for your nail, so you want to make sure that the side walls there are thick enough so that that nail has the good strength, as well as putting your apex area in the back third, especially with a set of long nails. You want to make sure your apex is in the back third to sort of balance that nail and make sure that it's nice and strong. There we go. I'll look at the nail from all different angles as usual, just making sure I've got enough acrylic where it needs to go. And once I've finished with that, like I said, I will go and wash my hands with some soap and water after it's hardened, and then we shall begin the filing. Nearly finished. I'm being really finicky. Right, I'm finished now. Filing time. Are you a Frosty filing freak? Whoop whoop. The timestamp is in the top of the screen if you do not want to see the filing, but for my Frosty filing freaks, here we go. Now, as you just saw, I'm using a new file to file my nails, but before I begin filing, I will blunt the edges of the nail file. New nail files are sharp. Their edges are sharp, so what you want to do is dull those edges slightly so that you don't end up cutting your fingers to shreds. So you just run an old nail file up the edges, score those off, and then you can begin filing. So a filing routine is extremely important to have. I have various filing routines because of the pain I have in my muscles and my joints. There are different ways that I handle filing depending on how much pain my fingers and hands are in. But what I will do is I will only choose one routine per set of nails. That's another key to getting a uniform set of nails. So as you saw, I started filing one side of the side walls, and then I go to the next nail, and then I go to the next nail, and I do all the nails the same. Then I start filing the other side of the side walls, the opposite side. File those straight and even, and then as you can see, I stop and look to make sure my nail's not going wonky, and if at that point, that's when I can adjust whether the other side of the nail needs filing any more than it needs to be, to make sure that the nail is going straight, not going wonky. And you see, like I said a million times before in many other videos, stop and look. You see, I often stop, hold my fingers up straight, and I look at the direction the nail is going in, just to make sure I'm not filing a nail to be wonky. I don't want a wonky nail. I want it to grow nice and straight and look pretty. So I'll just, as you see, I start sort of on the underside of the sidewall, rotate my file up so that it's flat straight against that sidewall, file that nice and straight, and then I can move on to the contouring and finishing of the structure of the nail, as it were. So on this occasion, I'm starting at the cuticle area with my sanding band. You guys know I have various different routines. On this occasion, I'm not using a carbide bit to go around the cuticle area because the cuticle area wasn't too bulky, so I didn't need to take lots of product away, so the sanding band was fine to just go around the cuticle area to make sure it is nice and flush with the natural nail. You don't want any a lip or a step. You want sort of a gradual progression from the nail plate into the acrylic. What you don't want is a step or a lip there, which would get caught on your hair and stuff and end up lifting. So you want to make sure that that is filed flush with the natural nail, but whilst you're filing, do make sure that you're only filing the product and you're not digging into your natural nail, because you will cause rings of fire that way. So just be very careful around that cuticle area. Now, if you're not adept with an electric e-file like how I'm using it now, you can do this with the hand file if you so wish, and you'll get the same result. So don't think that you have to have an e-file to do it. It just makes my life easier with the pain that I have, that I use an e-file. It's easier for me to do it this way than it is to do it with the hand file. But that's not to say you can't do it with a hand file. Now, as you can see, I have finished going around that cuticle area, and now I've switched to a carbide bit. This bit's actually a fine bit, so it's not removing a ton of product, but it's helping me to contour that nail, make sure it's nice and even and smooth, ready for, you know, buffing, which would remove any lines of demarcation and get that nail ready for gel polishing. Now, of course, you don't have to put gel polish over this. You could just leave it as a plain set of cover pink, top coat it, and away you go. So choices are up to you, but I wanted to have a design, so you will be seeing that. So don't, just, you know, stick around. We won't be finished after the filing. We've got more work to do. I'm trying to make sure at this point I'm looking at the free edge of my nail. I cannot abide the free edge of my nail to be thicker than a credit card. It makes life much more difficult living with nails if the free edge of your nail is really thick and bulky, and to me it looks unsightly. I don't like the look of a thick, bulky free edge. I think it looks horrible, to be perfectly honest. I know some people like really thick nails. That's their choice, of course. My personal preference is no, it's got to be no thicker than a credit card, because I just don't like the look of it. And like I said, it actually makes it more difficult to live with nails if they're really thick and bulky. Picking up things, just using your hand in general to do things. If your nails are really thick and bulky, it's more awkward to live with nails. A lot of people ask, oh, how do you do anything with those long nails? Well, I don't make them too thick, which makes living with them much easier, and you get used to having long nails, and you can do everything that you could do without nails with nails. It just, you know, you get used to it. There's no, you just adapt to how you use your hands in a slightly different way. Now, when I've not got nails on, that's when my life gets difficult, because I'm not used to it. So it's like asking someone, it's like me having long nails, asking someone with short nails, how do you get anything done with those short nails? It's impossible. It's like, no, that's nonsense. You apply nails, you get used to them, and life carries on as usual. It's just how it is. It's weird how people with who don't wear long nails don't understand that concept of adapting to, you know, life with long nails. It's not impossible. not impossible by any means. The only thing that I find extremely difficult with my long nails is braiding, you know, plaiting hair. That's best done with no nails, to be perfectly honest. If you want your braids to be really nice and perfect, no nails is the best course of action for that. But if you're not braiding hair, it's fine. Have your long nails, it's all gravy. So anyway, as you can see, I'm carrying on. Sorry, I went on a tangent there, didn't I? I'm just smoothing over the nail, contouring it, looking at it from all different angles, thinning that free edge, making sure it's nice and thin, but not too thin that it will break. And I'm just making sure that from sidewall to sidewall, if I'm looking down the barrel of the nail, I've got a beautiful semicircle like I'm showing you in that diagram on screen right now. So if you're looking down the barrel of the nail, what you want to see is that perfect curve, but no squared off edges, because obviously when you are filing with the hand file to get your sidewalls nice and straight, you are in fact filing a edge or a corner onto that nail. So what you want to do is blend that corner into the rest of the nail, so you've got that beautiful curve going from sidewall to sidewall. You also want to look at the nail from the side, make sure that it's going up from the cuticle area in a lovely slope, not too high, you don't need a mountain, and then gently sloping down towards the free edge. That makes for a lovely shaped nail. And what you don't want is, you know, a really steep, harsh rise up from the cuticle area. You just want a gentle slope, just a gentle slope up from the cuticle area, reaching its peak, and then gently sloping down towards the free edge. That's why I put the apex in the back third, which makes for a really strong nail, but it also makes for a nail that is aesthetically pleasing. So yeah. So once I've finished with that e-file, as you can see, I'm now using a buffing block to smooth that nail down, make sure I've removed any lines of demarcation. Now, be careful when you are buffing. And the reason I say this is because if you buff that nail too smooth, your gel polish has nothing to grip to, and you are more likely to have your gel polish peel off, which is, you don't want that at all. So to avoid that, you don't want a smooth as glass nail, because then your gel polish has got nothing to stick to. So when you're buffing, make sure that you're not buffing it too much. You just want to remove deep lines of demarcation, but you still want some scratches in there, if that makes sense. That gives your gel polish something to stick to. There we go, finished that. Just one last comparison, make sure everything looks good, and I make sure that I go underneath the nail to ensure that there are no frills underneath, because I can't stand that. And then yeah, once I've compared both hands and I'm happy with it, go and wash my hands with some soap and water, and then I will use a lint-free wipe and some rubbing alcohol over the surface of the nails to remove any of the moisturizers that would have gone onto the nails from the soap, because soaps have moisturizers in them and oils are the kryptonite as it were for gel polish. So you want to make sure all of the oils are removed. That way when you're gel polishing, you are not interfering with its adhesion by having oils on there, because that's exactly what oils do. They interfere with the adhesion and you don't want that, so remove the oils. There you go. Right, as you can see, I'm starting with my nail design, so I'm using that gorgeous deep plummy purple, and I'm doing a French design with that. Yeah, my poor little cuticle got a bit of a nick there. You know what, I'm terrible with my own hands. I tend to be more aggressive when I'm doing my own nails than anyone else's, and yeah, I cut myself. I don't have, I never cut anyone else but myself. It's just, yeah, most nail techs are like that though, to be honest. We're all much more aggressive with ourselves and less careful than we are with other people, which, stands to reason. You're not going to be aggressive with a client, they'll never come back. So as you can see, I've put that first layer on and it's almost opaque, which is crazy for just one layer, but I am going to do 2 layers because I want it fully opaque. But these are good quality gel polishes, so yeah, it's almost opaque with just that one layer. Now what you want to do is make sure that you are getting that layer to be as thin as possible, because 2 thin layers is always better than 1 thick layer. You want that gel polish to cure all the way through, and I always recommend that you use the lamp that the company of the nail polish, or the brand of the nail polish that you're using. This is because different brands of gel polishes cure at a different wavelength, and their lamps are normally calibrated to cure the correct wavelength for that gel polish brand. And so I have different lamps from different brands that I use to cure my nails, to make sure that the gel polish is cured all the way through. Now a lot of companies offer mini lamps as well as full-size lamps. I recommend just getting some of the mini ones. They're not expensive. Just get a few mini ones that way they're not taking up a whole heap of space either. But if you've got many different brands of gel polish, what you don't want is loads of different full size lamps, and there's no need for it. Just, you know, get yourself a mini lamp from whatever brand it is, or you can check with the company, the brand, what wavelength their gels cure at, and make sure that the lamp you currently own is that wavelength, because if that's the case, then obviously you don't need to buy a separate lamp. So yeah, just some little advice for you there, but of course the choice is yours. But as a technically a professional, and sharing my work, I feel it's my duty to give you good information and inform you of the do's and don'ts, because home users won't necessarily know these things because they haven't had full training, of course. But I'm happy to share my knowledge with you, because I learned a lot of things from watching YouTube videos, and that was the whole reason of me starting my channel. I noticed that some information was closely guarded and not shared with the general public, which I think is detrimental. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I started my channel. The other one is that I learned so much from others. I wanted to give back and say thank you to those who shared their beautiful work and information, which helped me on my journey. So I in turn want to pay it forward and help you guys as best I can. So yeah, there you go. Right, on with the design. So as you can see, I'm using the 3 different colours to create my marble design, and I'm using the brush that it has like bits of bristles cut out of it, so it's not a full bristled brush, if that makes sense. I'll put a picture on the screen for you in a sec for you to see it. There we go. Right, so if you look at that picture, you'll see that the bristles of the brush are not full, which makes it easier for you to get your marble design on, and hopefully not applying too much product, because if that marble is really thick, it can actually lift, not cure all the way through, lift and detach from the nail, and that's the last thing you want. So just make sure that you're not applying it too thickly, and the way to go about that is by using these brushes that have you know, gaps in the bristle, so you're not picking up too much product at a time. And there we go. I apply my marble and I work that marble the way I want it. If I wanted a bit more of the orange to show through the marble, so you'll see I'm specifically picking up more of that orange and placing it in places. And yeah, once I'm happy with it, then I'll cure it. But you know me, I faff around until the thing is looking as good as I would like it to. I'm just applying some, you know, a few streaks here and there where I want them to be. Just tidy that up a bit, and once I'm happy, there we go, I'll flash cure that in place. It will get a full cure once I've finished doing the rest of the nails, of course. So on to the little finger, and this is where I'm using that sticky toffee holographic gorgeousness. It's so beautiful. The camera really doesn't do it justice. In person, it's much more holographic than it looks on camera, and it's like it's orange, but it's not a bright orange. It's more of a sort of burnt orange, but not a dark burnt orange. I'm not very good at describing colours, am I? But yeah, it is technically it's an orange, but it's more leaning towards a burnt orange, with this gorgeous holographic shimmer beautifulness running through it. It's just stunning, hence I'm using it. I wouldn't use it if I didn't like it now, would I? No, I wouldn't. So as you can see, as usual, whenever I apply gel polish, I start in the middle of the nail. The reason that I do that is to deposit the majority of the product on the center of the nail before I go towards the cuticle area. That way the gel polish on the brush is not overloaded and won't flood my cuticle and sidewall area. If you go straight from the bottle to your cuticle area, you're more likely to flood that, and then you'll be having to go around with your cleanup brush getting it all off the skin. So to avoid that, that's why I start in the middle of the nail and then go towards the cuticle area. Now if I need to re-dip my brush in to get more product to go around that cuticle area properly, I will wipe off a lot of the product on the neck of the bottle before I go around that cuticle area, again trying to make sure that I'm not flooding it. Now I did manage to get a little bit of the gel polish on my skin because my hands do shake. There's nothing I can do about that. It's just part of my my disability, my illness. So a cleanup brush with a bit of acetone or a bit of rubbing alcohol just to tidy that area up. And also, if you find, because your hands shake like mine, you can't with the brush get that nice even neat sort of semicircle around that cuticle area, and it's, you know, it's looking a bit wonky and a bit sort of jagged, well, using that cleanup brush with a bit of acetone or rubbing alcohol, swiping around the cuticle area, that will give you that lovely neat semicircle line from the of the gel polish, which as it grows out will look much neater than if it was jagged in any way. So it's a, you know, top tip that a lot of nail professionals use is just a cleanup brush, any cheap tiny little brush, and a bit of, like I said, acetone or rubbing alcohol around that cuticle area. Yeah, it just makes it much neater, and your nails will just look so much nicer if you make sure that you are using a cleanup brush to get any off the skin and around the cuticle area to make it look nice and neat. Now my preference is to use my preference is to use acetone over rubbing alcohol. Now my reason for that is rubbing alcohol, especially with darker colours, may leave staining. The rubbing alcohol is less aggressive at removing gel polish than acetone is, because acetone pretty much eats it, whereas rubbing alcohol just sort of removes it, if that makes sense. So my preference is to use acetone. It gets it all off the skin thoroughly and it won't stain and smear, whereas rubbing alcohol can do that. So if you're finding that you're using rubbing alcohol and it's smearing and staining the skin when you're trying to remove it, then use some acetone and you'll notice a big difference. Just a little top tip for you. I don't hear people mentioning these things in videos, so yeah, just a little bit more information for you. Another pro tip, as it were. So as you saw, I did my second layer of gel polish, got that all cured, and now it's time to bling it, baby. Oh yeah, I haven't worn crystals in the longest time, and I was really excited to put some crystals back on my nails. I've been doing my, you know, quite simple designs without crystals, and this time I was like, you know what, I want some bling. I definitely want some bling. And I had these orange crystals that sort of, they're orange but they're AB, so they've got that kind of rainbow iridescence to them as well. They're not just straight up orange, so they've got a bit of a color shift to them. Really pretty. I get most of my crystals from eBay and AliExpress, to be perfectly honest, and yeah, I've got quite a decent what's the collection, we'll say, of crystals. And so yeah, I thought, you know what, I'm going to use these ones. So at some angles it kind of flashes a little bit purple, so I thought it would work well with this set. And yeah, I'm just sort of being a bit matchy. Could use just straight up AB crystals if you wanted to, or purple crystals with a design like this. My choice was to use the orange. I really wanted to accentuate that, so yeah, that's what I chose to use. Do a quick little nail crystal design, flash cure that in place, and now it's time to top it off and keep it tough. Oh yeah. So as I said before, this one is the top coat that has a tacky layer to remove. They do have a non-tacky top coat as well as a matte top coat, which I've also been sent recently as well. So yeah, in future videos you'll see those top coats being used, no doubt. But for now I'm using the one that I had at the time, which is the one with the tacky layer. Non-tacky and tacky top coats have their pros and cons, so I don't mind having one that has a tacky layer, because for some designs a tacky layer is helpful to have. So yeah, I like to have both types, and I also like to have a matte top coat because matte nails are gorgeous too. So as I'm applying that top coat, I'm making sure that I'm giving it a generous amount of top coat, but I'm not over applying it, making it really thick, because what that will do is it will run into your sidewalls. It will also pull by your free edge and your sidewalls, bulking them out, which will lose the shape of the nail. So just make sure that you're applying enough but not too much of the top coat, but that top coat right up to your crystals, but do not go over the crystals with the top coat. You just want to make sure it's butted right up against those crystals at the base of where they are attached. Just don't put the top coat over the crystals, because it will dull their shine. If you put the top coat over the crystals, it will turn them into little balls, which will lose their facets, and it's the facets that makes them sparkle. So if you don't want to lose the facets, do not top coat over them. You can use a small detail brush to go around the crystals and really secure them in place. That's also an option for you to do, which helps, you know, really give them a securing, similar to what a gem has if it's, you know, in a ring. They have that sort of claw holding them set in place, which is a similar effect to if you go around the base of the crystals. It gives it that a similar claw grabby type effect. I hope I'm making sense in explaining that, but yeah, anyway, that's it, top coated. Now cured that for 60 seconds. Important tip, do not immediately remove that tacky layer. Let the nails cool down first, because you'll lose the shine if you immediately remove that tacky layer. Let the nails cool down a little bit before, you know, only 30 seconds to a minute, that's all, and then you can remove that tacky layer and they will be nice and shiny. So with that, this is the finished design. I hope you like this set of nails, and I'd like to say thank you ever so much for coming to my channel, spending some of your most precious time with me. Thank you ever so much, I appreciate you. If you have not done so already, please join the Frosty Fam. I'd love to have you. Look at that gorgeous holo. Ooh. If you've enjoyed this video, it's helped you in any way, shape or form, please do click that like button. It takes about a second to do. It's free and it would really help my little channel out. And if you feel like it, you're more than welcome to leave me a comment. I'm happy to talk to you, answer any questions and what have you. So yeah, that's all I've got for this time, peeps. I hope you like this design, and I really enjoyed that gorgeous holographicness. Certainly did. I've got some photos at the end for you, but that's all I've got for this time now, peeps. You take care now, and I'll speak to you all again really, really soon. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
Someday soon, I'm gonna make it.